Where are we today, Bill?
Well, today we are in Laurel Hill Cemetery in Wilton, New Hampshire.
We've been to Wilton before.
Yes, we have. We've been here to visit the Blue Lady.
All right, and
Yes.
the Blue Lady is in our book.
Yes, she is.
Right,
Yeah.
Buried New Hampshire, Volume 1 and Volume 2.
Yeah.
No, so we are back in beautiful Wilton.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Well, today we're here
Yeah.
to visit Denise Gertrude Blake Perry.
Hmm.
And she was one of the Granite State's founding aviation pioneers.
And she's buried right here.
Yes,
She was born in Manchester.
yes.
And 1905, that's only 2 years after the Wright brothers had their first flight, which didn't go very far.
Not far.
But, she spent most of her life in Milford, which is not far from Manchester. So she was near an airport, even at that time, and became fascinated by airplanes very early in life.
Well, her father owned Blake's Creamery, which was kind of an ice cream stand,
Yeah.
which became apparently a restaurant and then a second restaurant.
Okay.
So he was quite successful. But she was fascinated. As a very small child, she would visit the Manchester airport and she would watch airplanes take off and land.
Okay. That's wasn't the only thing that happened to her at the Manchester
No, it
airport.
was not.
She met Winthrop, who was buried right here. And he was a successful businessman, apparently, and also an engineer and a pilot. They certainly shared that together. And they did both become innovators for aerial photography and aviation. That's
Yeah.
what they started
Well, in
together, I think.
1929, she became the first licensed pilot,
Yeah,
female licensed pilot
yeah.
in New Hampshire. And then to put that into perspective, at the time, there were only 117 women pilots in the entire
United States.
Yes.
Yeah, wow. So that's amazing
That is,
when you think
yes.
about it. Yeah. Well, she did go to the Curtis Flying Services Flying School, apparently. So she showed an interest at that in flying right from a young age. And apparently she was 22 when she became the first woman in New Hampshire to earn a pilot's license. And from 1929, not too long later, she was the first female commercial pilot in all of New England.
Yes.
And that's
It is
saying
true.
something.
Well, she became a charter member of the 99s, which also was started in 1929.
What was that?
And that is an international organization for women pilots.
Yeah.
And it was founded by none other than Amelia Earhart.
Mm-hmm.
And Bernice was one of the charter members of the 99. So that's an organization that continues today.
Yeah.
It supports women in aviation. It's a global institution.
Apparently, yeah.
And so they do a lot of networking, education, and for the preservation of women's aviation. And I hope we are doing a little bit of that today.
Yeah. Well, she obviously did all that. In the state of New Hampshire, she really helped promote aviation for the state too. And one of the things she did was create aerial maps and surveyed locations for future airfields. Wondering if the one in North Conway is in there. I don't know. But another thing that they did, she and her husband apparently developed a way to mount the camera directly on the plane so that she could take steady pictures.
Yes.
Now, I did spend some time when I had my photography business hanging out of a plane taking aerial photography. I was able to shoot at a very high shutter speed. They didn't have that in those
No,
days.
it would have been a lot more difficult.
So this was definitely a useful innovation, I would say.
Well, she and her husband did run a photography business,
Yeah.
aside from the fact that he was an engineer. And they offered a wide variety of different services, including wedding photography
Yeah.
and event photography. They covered an awful lot of local activities. So her photography not only captured aviation history, but New Hampshire's culture history. She photographed not only airports and landscapes, but also artists at the famous McDowell colony in Peterborough.
Right, and we've been to Peterborough,
Yes.
too.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting that place. The Colony is a place where if you're a writer or an artist, an actor, I think a number of other things, you can go and work on your art form and not be disturbed, is my understanding. Some of the people that she did photograph, we don't know them all, but they were major figures in American culture. Leonard Bernstein, Aaron Copland, Thornton Wilder was associated with
Our town, Peterborough.
Marion Moore, the poet, James Baldwin, novelist and a writer.
Well, Bernice's legacy wasn't only about flying and photography.
Yeah, she was also incredibly involved with the community, apparently, more so than most anybody we can probably think of. She did work with fundraising. She was a philanthropist, probably did take money from her family inheritance and gave it and used it for community purposes, but she also was really good at getting people involved in raising money, especially for education, scholarships, local charities throughout all of southern New Hampshire in any case. One of her most famous at the time anyway was the Hot Air for High Hopes Balloon Festival. Cool, can you imagine that?
Cool. Yeah.
And apparently raised thousands of dollars in those days, which was a lot of money in those days. And a lot of students still benefit from her scholarships, I think especially in the Milford school system, but pretty incredible.
Well, she also donated tens and thousands of photographic negatives to the Milford Historical Society, preserving an incredible visual record of New Hampshire history for future generations.
Yeah, she was like one of those people that worked for a local newspaper almost, covering anything. So, yeah, obviously she was a groundbreaking pilot. We know that. But she was a photographer, philanthropist, community leader. What more could you ask?
Well, here at Laurel Hill Cemetery in Wilton, her story continues to inspire generations of New Hampshire residents, including women, to follow their dreams and contribute to their communities.
Yeah, well, I guess if you could become a pilot in those days, shows you can overcome things to do it. But also she was known not only for that, but people described her as really modest, not somebody who stood up here and looked down on people, was very much a part of the community. And, you know, despite all of her accomplishments, really, she was apparently very, very well liked, quite a lady. And she died in 1996. But think of the changes that she saw. You know, aviation, obviously, but just in the world.
Well, she lived to see a man on the moon.
She did. And incredible. Well, Bernice and Winthrop.
Yes. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.